Hey, Planeswalkers, Mythras here. Hope you're doing well and staying safe. Welcome to today's episode of Top Deck. We are covering a top 50 Jeskai Fliers deck by Danny T. Law. So congratulations, Danny T, on hitting the top 50 with this deck, also known as Azorius Hot Wings. So I know you guys liked the Wet Gruul the other day, so you guys can check that one out, but just giving you another name for this one. With that said, Planeswalkers, I appreciate, as I said, you tuning in. We have a lot to go through here today, so feel free to navigate down below to the timestamps. We're going to talk about the strategy, the list, how to sideboard. We'll play some competitive Magic here for you in both best of 1 and best of 3, and then we'll talk about where this may fit in the meta for you, and give you an idea of where it's going to fit in and how it's going to play. So with that, Planeswalkers, as always, I appreciate you very much. So feel free to subscribe to the channel down over there, and additionally like the video if you like it. Now, on top of that, if you do have questions or comments, feel free to let me know down below. Always happy to help. And then also feel free to hop in the Discord server. That information is available for you as well. So let's hop into it here without further ado. So we have the Jeskai Fliers. So the whole theme around this is really about flying. Traditionally, it's been Azorius Fliers. I'm super pumped, as I said, to be playing a flying deck here again. And I like the red, not even red splash, because we got gold span in here, but the reality is making use of red in the Jeskai form to gain a lot of power in our flying archetype here. So Goldspan gives us this ability to have a 4/4 flyer with haste, a big body. Additionally, the ability to create some additional mana there with these treasure tokens, where we can, if this is on the board, we get 2 mana if we crack it. So very powerful there. And most of the stuff that we have is down in that space, so we're gonna have a lot of ability to play with that. And then additionally, what we picked up here is Showdown of the Skalds, so we can exile top 4 cards of our library. We see this in a lot of aggro decks, so this is a really nice fit in here. And then until end of our next turn, we may play those cards, and then additionally, whenever we cast a spell, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature we control. So a great way to play aggro, a great way to reload the board. We do have a lot going on here. I like the mix that we see and the things that we have available to us to really beat down our opponents by going over the top, adding that value, and then quickly moving here, hopefully for the wins. So that is what this deck is about. You're consistently playing on curve. We have some great top end cards to reload or build our board state, and then we have some ability to play some control there alongside the aggro component of our early game here. So that is the strategy and objective of this deck. So if you do have questions, like I said, let me know, but we're going to dive into the list a little bit more formally now. So we do have that Battlefield Raptor, a 1/2 flying first striker. We got Selfless Savior here, ability to sack this guy, protect the other creatures on our board, which is going to be very big here. We got Clarion Spirit. The double cast ability here is giving us a 1/1 spirit creature token with flying as well. We got Lofty Denial. So if you're not familiar with this card, it's a great card in flyer decks. We can counter target spell its controller pays 1, so a nice slip, and then if we control a creature with flying, it's a 4 payment otherwise. So very healthy there. We got Skycat Sovereign. So this card came about in Ikoria. It's flying. It gets +1/+1 for each other creature we control with flying, and we get that ability to pump at 4 and create a token. So we got a lot of things that are going to fill this guy's cup. We get Watcher of the Spheres. So when this creature has flying, and creature spells with flying cost 1 less to cast, and whenever another creature of flying enters the battlefield under our control, the spheres, Watcher of the Spheres, is going to get +1/+1 to end a turn. So a great way to ramp into other cards here, particularly Goldspan, which can do a lot of stuff for us, my friends. Then we got Shatter Skull Smashing, a nice one of, again, mortal land, deal damage to creature or planeswalkers at X damage. You can split that. If X is 6 or more, double that damage. We have Redain, God of the Worthy here. Flying Vigilance, snowlands our opponents, enter the battlefield tapped. So this is big against a lot of the snowland decks. I always always caution you to be leery of this card. So it's great to see this here in the main board. And then non-creature spells our opponents cast with converted mana cost 4 or greater cost 2 more to cast. So we get a lot of endgame of availability or viability here with this card. And we also got the Protector Shield here, so it prevents flooding. Additionally, if a source opponent control would deal damage to us or a permanent we control, prevent 1 of that damage. And then whenever you or another permanent you control become the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless its controller pays 1. So I know some people asked me about this card actually recently on Reddit. So just to clarify, given the way that reads, if your opponent plays a counter spell, it's not targeting you specifically, it's countering that spell. That spell is not a permanent. So this Protector Shield, I believe, does not kick in. So I did want to call that out quick for you. Then we got Brazen Borrower here. We got a 3/1 flash flyer that can only block flying, or at adventure casting instant speed here, we got Petty Theft, where we can return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its hand. We got Showdown of the Skulls, like I talked about, Goldspan, and then last but not least here, we got a Muria's Call. This enters the battlefield. We can pay 3 life. If we don't, it enters the battlefield tapped, and then additionally we get the ability to create 2 4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens. With flying, non-angel creatures we control do get indestructible till next turn. And then a good healthy mix of lands, making this even more available and easier for us to hit with these lovely modal lands like Mistgate or the Pathways, and some of the other things that we do have here. So that's the main board, my friends. We're going to dive into the sideboard now. We got Sentinel's Eyes. Giant creature gets +1/+1, has vigilance. Exile 2 other cards from our graveyard. We can escape it for 1. Mainly, you're going to want to play this against rogue decks. I also don't mind it against other aggro decks. The ability to hit in and then also have the protection is going to be very powerful for us. We have Red Cap Melee. This deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a non-red permanent is dealt damage this way, we sacrifice land. Great against Gruul aggro. Great against mono red. Great against Boros decks. Great to take out Goldspan. So even things like Ultimatum is a great spot for it. Then we got Soul Guide Lantern here. When this enters the battlefield, exile target card from a graveyard. We can sack it, exile each opponent's graveyard, and then we also have that 1 sack there where we can draw a card as well. You're going to play this against things like Rogues decks, Lurrus decks. You may still run into Cycle decks. Great against Escape decks, mid-range decks, Croxid decks, Rakdos, Jund Sack decks, those kinds of things. Then we got Glass Casket here. When this enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or less until it leaves the battlefield. Great against Rogues decks, Mill decks, Hedron Crab, or not Hedron Crab, the regular crab that's there now. I don't think it's Hedron. Talking too fast. Great against Mirror Match, great against Mono White, particularly Mono White, aggro and life gain. You're going to want to play this. And then also very, very nice against things like Mono Red. So keep that in mind when you do play some of those more aggro decks. That's going to be a friend. Disdainful Stroke here, counter target spell, convert mana cost 4 or greater. Play this against those Ultimatum decks, the one that we did yesterday. This is going to break them up pretty nicely. Play this against Grixis. Play this against either Ultimatum, Teamer, or Emergent, so keep those things in mind. Negate here, counter target non-creature spell. Absolutely play this against control decks. Play it against things like mono black enchantments that we've just seen. You could play that there. Play this against the Ultimatum decks like we mentioned, any other control decks, Yorion decks, those kinds of things. Weathered Runestone here acts like a Graph Digger, so non-land permanent cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. Play this against Foretell decks. Play this against decks that are trying to leverage their graveyard. Play this against Ultimatum decks as well. They're not going to be able to cast. They'll go to their hand, so it'll save you a turn there. Bonecrusher Giant, this 4/3 guy, giant, whenever it becomes a turn of a spell, it's going to deal 2 damage to that spell's controller. Stop for 2 at instant speed. That damage can't be prevented. It's dealt to any target. Again, great against aggro decks like we talked about, when you have to have that ability to reach over and remove things off the board. Phoenix of Ash here, flying haste, 3 for that Fire Breath, escape it for 4, exile 3 other cards to make it happen, get a +1/+1 counter. The big one here is going to be Rogues, my friends. We already got big flying going on, so that's realistically where you're going to want to play it. You can also play it if you wanted to against other mid-range decks, just for something with some Fire Breath as well, and otherwise if you're not going to get value out of some of the other things that we do have here on the board. So Planeswalkers, that is the sideboard. Now I'm going to talk about how we board in terms of the aggro, the mid-range, and late game lineup. So as we mentioned, against aggro, you could be a fan of Sentinel's Eyes. Again, if you are playing specific to Rogue's decks, you're definitely going to move those four in. You may want to consider Bone Crusher, depending on how you want to do that, but most things got 3 toughness, so you might not hit it. You're going to play Glass Casket as well, and that's kind of for sure. This is kind of my makeup depending on what we're playing. Bone Crusher, maybe Red Cat Melee, Sentinel's Eyes for sure, Glass Casket, anywhere between 4 and 6. What I would look to remove, to be honest, I like Selfless Savior, but it's only going to be beneficial when they're dealing direct damage on your creatures. That would be worth consideration of a cut, in my opinion. The 1-drop's nice, but just keep those things in mind. Lofty Denial's nice as well. It's going to help you on the top end side of the house, but again, if your opponents get stuff on the board, you're not going to get the value out of this. Things like Glass Casket could help you, so that could be a consideration. The other things that you can do here is you can move your top end down further, go a little bit lighter on the top end here, and really focus on the early game components. We are running 23 lands plus the 225. That's pretty healthy for an aggressive deck like this. You could also, if you wanted to, reduce the showdowns, just again to refill, but keep those things in mind. You just want to be careful on that as well. And then when we get to the mid-range, there's 2 pieces here. Creature-based, like we talked about, some of the Gruul aggro stuff, some of the other creature-based decks that you may want to run into, like the counters decks at times. And then additionally, the other school of thought is just going to be when you separate from the creatures into more control-based, like some of the Rakdos mid-range decks, per se, or other escape decks. Even at times, the Ultimatum one, we got to break up how we're going to look at that. You'll do similar in terms of what we did for the aggro. Otherwise, you're going to start to look at Negate, probably Soul Guide Lantern, potentially Disdainful Stroke, depending on what they're doing, and potentially Weathered Runestone. If that's the case, if they do have the direct kill spells, you're going to want to keep Selfless Savior on there. You're probably going to want to keep Lofty Denial. I would consider looking at Battlefield Raptor to reduce down, or even Goldspan again, depending on how you want to play this. In terms of value, we're essentially kind of moving a little bit more towards the middle in terms of the mid-range matchup, and that's kind of what we want to do. Then when we get into the late game, these are control decks. These are dimmer control decks, Yorion decks. They can be Doom decks if you're still running into those. Ultimatum kind of borderlines that. Sultai Emergence as well, Sultai Control. You're really going to look at bringing in Disdainful Stroke and Negates, potentially Weathered Runestone, and then maybe even a Soul Guide Lantern. We're not going to change up as much. We're still going to be the need for speed here, getting under our opponents, and then we're going to consider maybe moving things like Brazen Borrower out. You can keep the low bodies here. That's still going to feed those, but those would be some other considerations potentially. If they don't have direct kill, Selfless Savior, I'd remove those kinds of things. So Planeswalkers, that is the aggro, that is the mid-range, and that is the late game lineup here for our Jeskai Fliers deck. That's top 50, again, by Danny T. Law. So let's go ahead and play some competitive Magic now. We're going to go play some healthy best of 1 and then jump into some healthy best of 3 competitive Magic here for you today. So let's get on it right away, because we do have a lot going on. All right, standard ranked. There's Jeskai Fliers. We covered that Sultai Ultimatum deck yesterday. You guys can absolutely check that one out. So let's go ahead here and jump into it. For those of you that are joining now, at this point, as always, a huge thank you. As I always say, appreciate your support. Please feel free to subscribe down over there, and additionally like the video. Great ways for us to connect in the description, and other ways to support the channel. Couple calls. If you do have questions or comments, let me know throughout. You can also feel free to hop on the Discord server. I am going to keep this, even though my opponent's going first. We don't see Aluris. Still could be. We're a little light on mana. I will play the Triumph first, because we need to hit our 2-drop depending on what we play. Looks like we're going to hit a Gruul deck. Absolutely hit a Gruul deck. So this will be an interesting matchup for us. So here we have to play the whites. I like having the red for the Scalds, well, the Goldspan essentially, but we'll have to figure out how we want to play this. So I think we go with the 2/2 first. Now, Goldspan got cheaper, so we got to keep that in mind. Now they could burn this off with a Bone Crusher. So we just got to keep that in mind. You know, ideally, if we can hit that, they're going to get real aggressive. So probably Fabled Passage would be my guess. And really do some damage. Well, that works too. All right, so we finally hit something here that's going to help us. What we need to figure out is, we know that they're going to play the Love Struck. We can sit on the Lofty Denial if we would like to. We got a little bit of a ways to go here, honestly. So let's see what we want to do. So the double red is going to be very important here for this. We need the blue, which we can do. So I think we do this. We'll wait a turn because I got the Lofty Denial. We can drop the Skycat Sovereign. We're just not going to gain as much value. We have to be slightly protective here. Unfortunately, they can go under us, but they certainly have the ability to do cleave. Oh, they didn't do it. All right, let's grab another blue. So now we can play the gold span. Now if we attack in, we'll get the 2 here, but we won't be able to block anything, so we'll attack here with this guy. Any cleave is game over for us. Oh, double crusher. Everything in their hands, my friends. Nothing we could do. Very aggressive. So just a little bit tricky on the mana base there. We didn't have, you know, we had to wait till turn 2, and we were not on the play. We were on the draw. So against another aggressive deck that's very consistent there in certainly a T1, T2. All right, so let's go ahead here. Prenisar it is, my friends. Let's see what we got going on. All right, so again here with the 2 drops, we can drop that. We do go first. We could pay the 3 and get that on. I'm gonna wait. I'll keep the 7. I'm gonna play this first so I can get all my mana down. I do want to actually get this first, and then that will line us up, if we can pull it off, into a nice 2-drop turn. So potentially, depends on if we hit a land. If we don't, we're going to have to be just careful about that. All right, so we have a mono red aggro deck, not a snow version. So we got to keep that in mind as well. Lots of whites, lots of whites. So we are going to face the potential burn here. So we have to be prepared for that. We'll see if we don't get burned here. We may have a chance. They're going to burn us. They clicked it already. I was going to say we may have a chance, but we don't. Oh, so there we go. We get another opportunity here. So I'm going to pay the 3. We'll bring this on. That's too bad because that would have been a really, really nice turn there for us. Now, when we drop our Fabled Passage, we're going to want to go get, and I should actually put that as blue, we're going to want to go grab a red so that if we do hit our flying friend, we'll be okay there. All right, so we'll go thin. Well, no, actually, we need a blue now, so I'm going to save that so we can double up here. And we'll start getting some damage in. So Scalds would be really nice right about now. I'm going to go play this, as much as it pains me to do this, but I want to thin my deck. There it was. Oh, they can block the Raptor. I always preach about Robber the Rich, and I forgot. Ate my own preaching there. That's all right. So cleave, will cleave do it? 6, 7, 6, 7, 14. It will kill me. Cleave will finish me off. Oh, they give everything else up. It might have a burn though. Oh, is this going to be enough? Nope. It's not going to be enough. 4, 6. We can double block. It's a good game. All right, we are out again. So tough deal there. Not very, very close. Like I said, the robber slightly got us. It would have kept our other guy bigger for one turn still. We would have been able to like slightly survive there, but not. It wouldn't have been enough damage. So on to our third and final best of one here, and then we'll jump into our best of 3 lineup for today. So fast matches, which is always good, but it's not good to be on the losing end here. But we'll play STN and we'll see how this goes. All right, so we go first again. We get Clarion Spirit. We get the two colors there. We're not hitting on those. I'm going to try it again. I do like having the double ups here, but we'll see what we hit. Uh-oh. This might be Tibalts Trickery. They mulligan twice. They went twice. So very aggressive here. Teamer. Yep, Tibalts Trickery. Called it. Against the coma. Well, here's what we do actually. Oh my gosh, they had 2 of them. You've got to be kidding. That is a good joke. Absolutely right there. We'll go grab a red, I think. Oh, Goldspan's too far out. I think the right move's white. This is going to destroy us because that can get coma in fast. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're going here, and we're going here. So this is how you get some real nice triggers. Goldspan and Brazen Power are a little bit cheaper. We don't have enough to kill Goldspan. I'm going to have to block at least one. They can pull Coma in, but Coma's not going to help us. Oh, of course. Ugin, there you go. Look at that. Alright, let's see if it lets me... Oh, it didn't let me do it. Anyway. Unfortunately, that's the first time that we've lost on camera to Tibalts Trickery. I couldn't handle not only 1, but 2 Tibalts. That was just really bad luck. Between yesterday and today, my luck has just been smashing. Alright. We're going to try and turn it around here in our traditional standard ranked. Again, we did the Sultai Ultimatum deck. Let's go ahead with the Jeskai Fliers deck here. Again, top, so for those of you joining right now, to summarize what happened, we got crushed in best of 1. Just really, really, again, unlucky. It happens. We go on these runs and it happens. So we'll play first. But I do want you to know that I truly appreciate your support. So please feel free to subscribe down there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and Twitch to stay up to date. I am going to keep this. Absolutely. I just need to figure out the play order. Oh man, are we going to play best of 3 against a Tibalt Trickery deck? It looks like it. Absolutely looks like it. So I'm going to go grab a blue. Then we'll drop a white. We won't play anything. Here comes the red. Oh, it's Gruul. Well, we're in a Gruul match, so this is gonna be a little bit different. Now the play style is gonna be a little bit different. Here we go. It's not the right color makeup though. That's very unfortunate. I would have liked to drop 2 of these and then got my flyer, but we did not get there. Here comes Crusher. I'm getting good at calling my opponent's plays, huh, you guys? So here's a trick that I'm debating. So we can go Showdown of the Scalds here, but we're gonna lose value. I think we end up doing this, to be honest. I don't like it a ton, but we can Scalds into Goldspan. The double flyer would have been really nice there for us. Really, really nice. It's a bummer. Not gonna block yet. So we can't get anything off of 1. So we'll play that. So what we play here is going to be pretty important. If they hit cleave, we're dead. Absolutely dead. Because that guy's an 8/8, and we don't have enough to block. So alright. Henge is not cool either, but it's better than a cleave. They still have enough for cleave though, by the way. No, that's fine. I can deal with that. I can't block that guy though. So I will take... So here's what we do. We double block. We sack this guy. That's going to give us the best value on the block. There we go. My turn. So now we need to go with... Do we go with the red or the white? We got plenty of white though. Go with the red. If we go with the gold span, that gives us 3. It's not enough. So if we go 2, so that's the better play, I think. We'll sit on the gold span. Make that guy bigger. Too bad that Lofty Denial's not going to help us here. Oh. Alright, so we need to block there. But then we can't get the 4s. So we have to block there. 9. Alright, block, 8. Still alive. Alright. Alright, let's see what we get here. They're just gonna bone crusher me to the face is what's gonna happen. Even if we would have loaded up gold span there, we couldn't have done anything, unfortunately. This will be a good one though for us to pull in a lot of those sideboard options that we're talking about, to kind of just slow this down a little bit and then try and get the board control. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They certainly have enough. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think they're good. I think they are good. Oh, it was close, my friends. All right, let's see if we can flip this around here now in the sideboarding for best of 3. I'm actually going to throw in Sentinel's Eyes. I'm going to grab the Caskets. I'm going to grab the Melee. I'm going to grab the Crusher. Weathered Runestone will shut some of their stuff down as well, so that's quite a bit. Let's drop one of those. I'm going to drop Redain, even though it's Flying Vigilance. Take that back. I like the Flying Vigilance. Selfless Savior obviously helped us. Do we want the Battlefield Raptor? It works if we get this going. It does slow down early game. This guy's pretty powerful, but gotta be real aggressive. Ugh. Clarion Spirit still double. I don't know. I think that's good. I think these help. As much as I like this, I feel like we just need to lock their stuff down a little bit more. That's direct play. I might get rid of that for now. Let's go 3. Real close here. It's gonna be real close. Maybe we drop the eyes. I like the red cap. The counter's still good. Let's go 1 watcher. Let's go 2 watchers. It helps us on the late creatures, but they're still open pretty heavily. So let's see if this will do it for us. We'll try it. We got access to every color. That's terrible too. They mulliganed twice and we still lost there. I'm gonna go with that first. I will counter. We can deal with that. We'll play this. Probably gonna be Great Henge. Gonna be my guess. Now we're gonna run into some problems. Oh, what I always say, your opponents play the best game ever. I'm telling you, I'm not this terrible. You guys can go watch some of my Twitch stuff too. So I can do a couple things here. I just got to debate how I want to do it. I certainly want to play this. I think it's the Scavenging Ooze that comes off. Five. So it's 5, 8, 10 plus 1. We're short. We are short here. And they get the life, so 15. I don't have 15 damage right now. If they have a Bone Crusher hit my Raptor, I'm hosed, which they may. Or Scorching Fire. No, what good stuff, my friends. What good stuff it is, as always. Let's do this. Let's go 2 there. Believe it is. Believe it is, my friends. Let's see here. You can block there. Block there. Do we have anything in the graveyard? We got Selfless Savior. We got plenty of stuff. Yeah, so we can't do that. All right, we are done, my friends. So that is all for today. Another clean sweep loss for us. That is extremely unfortunate here, my friends. Obviously, it's extremely healthy meta and very competitive. So let's go ahead here and check out this deck. This is a top 50 Jeskai Fliers deck. So I like the concept. Certainly, you know, a little bit I'll be honest, I think it underperformed relative to where I think it was going to be, but that doesn't mean it's a bad deck, right? So in terms of best of one, I like the concept. The 2-drop slot is nice, it's competitive, but we just didn't connect well. It can get a little bit tricky on the either or. Clarion Spirit's obviously easier, those kinds of things, but we did get Scalding or Showdown of the Scalds to go. We did get Goldspan on. We didn't get Redain here dropped, but we did go 0 and 3. We did hit a nasty Tibalt deck in the 3rd match again. Generally we came out on the top end, but today we did not come out on the top end on that. Best of one, there's still a lot more to go through here. It's early, but I would put this as aggressive as it could be. Given we've seen some of these nicer tier 1, tier 2 decks, I would say at most maybe towards the bottom or mid tier 2 in best of one, potentially tier 3 for sure. I don't think it's above the middle in terms of the tier 2. There's just better options in terms of best of one and some of the competitiveness, to be honest. Maybe it would have been a little bit different. Oop, I moved that one out by accident. Maybe it would have been a little bit different there. Had we hit curve, obviously we're on the draw for a couple of those, but we still, even on our turn 1 plays, we generally weren't connecting the way we needed to. Then in best of 3, didn't go well against Gruul Aggro. We hit a Gruul Aggro in best of 1 as well, as certainly one of the top decks. I'll even say I think Danny T. Law felt kind of, more of definitely not a tier 1 deck, but probably tier 2. I would agree, again, with the caveat that potentially even tier 3. I know they had a nice run with this one, going like 9 and 1 or something like that, and obviously that's what helped them hit 30 here, or top 50. So just keep those things in mind. That's kind of where I think this one sits in terms. Probably obviously need some more at bats with it, but just sticking to the style that we do here. So fast matches, got through quickly, but not on the upside, on the downside for us here today. So Planeswalkers, as always, if you have questions or comments, please let me know. Happy to help. Let me know down below. I love showing you guys the real deal. Obviously, I don't think everyone goes in and wins out. I think a lot of that stuff's an illusion. So why I like to show it as it is. Sure, I could pick this deck up maybe and run 6 in a row. Who knows? Obviously Danny hit like a 9 and 1 run with this. So it happens. It is how it goes, and we're on the bad side of things right now. But we'll get better. We've seen some nice crushing days, and now we're on the other end of those today. As always, Planeswalker, again, huge thank you. Appreciate that support. Please feel free to subscribe down over there. Additionally, like the video if you like it. You can like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Stay up to date on content like this. We got a ton more things coming your way. Lots of great ways for us to connect down below in the details. Feel free to hop in the Discord server, my friends. Love seeing you. Love chatting. And stay tuned for my Twitch streaming as well, because there's a lot of great matches there that we do too. So stay safe, Planeswalkers. We'll see you again soon. Mythras out. Until next time.